First up today, we explore the crisis situation in Venezuela as the Maduro government goes toe-to-toe with the United States. Then it's South Africa's Information Commissioner, Advocate Pansy Tlakula, in the hot seat as she explains the right to access to information in the era of big data. And as is custom, we take a look at our weekend newspapers to see what's made the headlines this week and why. The Fix starts now. This is The Fix, where every Sunday, without fear or favor, we question the big role players. We look ahead and tell you what matters, how it affects you, and why you should care. And as usual, I'm of course joined by my sparring partner, Sunday Times and Business Day columnist, Peter Bruce. Hi, Peter. Karima. A busy week in politics.
Well, a busy week in politics, but a really busy week for you. You've undergone an extraordinary experience.
Yeah.
If listeners don't know, you've been helping out the Jane Dutton show with some political advice about how to cover the elections.
I'm basically a producer.
Yeah. And at their request, and you posted some advice to the show about the EFF, which you also then sent to an EFF WhatsApp
group
site.
Yeah.
And Julius Malema, the leader of the party, then reposted this on Twitter, on his Twitter account, which has a couple of million followers. And
3 million.
3 million, and it had your phone number on it.
Yes.
And they've all called you, and they've all threatened you with rape and all sorts of retaliations because he regarded you as a spy or something like that.
Yeah,
it's so stupid. It's hard to believe.
Into
but
the gathering.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, it's just ridiculous. But you've not taken it lying down.
No, I haven't. The first thing I did was, because I'm a journalist, I don't need permission from the EFF to do my job. And what I did was what every journalist and producer do. We do producer notes. So I put a watching brief on the story, and I basically said, check out if there's only males in the Alders, check out if there's women. And that's exactly what the message said. So I don't know how the EFF decided that I was a mole or
Doesn't
a spy.
matter. I mean, they would anyway.
Exactly. So what I did was I went to the police and I laid a charge of intimidation and, of course, of trying to stop me from doing my work.
Not the first time you've done it, made a charge against...
This is not the first time I've made a charge against the EFF for trying to intimidate me because I have been threatened before.
Okay.
But what I've done in conjunction with that, Peter, is I have written to the IEC Commissioner, Mr. Simon Mabolo, and I have urged him to take the EFF to the Electoral Court because I think Julius Malema is in violation of the Code of Conduct. The President announced the election date, that it's the 8th of May.
Yeah.
The Code of Conduct got implemented and it started focusing on the 6th of March. And Julius Malema made that threat on that very same day. And in my view, he is in violation of that. So,
and you presumably got legal opinion on
Yes, I've got legal opinion. I've got two excellent lawyers.
Because he'll get his legal opinion from the usual suspects.
Yes. What is really interesting and very heartening for me is the support that I've gotten. I've gotten support from the Committee for Freedom of Journalists. They're an internationally based organization. Good. Angela Quintal, who's a known South African, is head of the Africa section. And she has also written to the IEC. And I've annexed that to my complaint that the IEC needs to investigate the issues around media freedom and particularly the threat against women. And then I've also attached the EFF statement where they try to explain themselves, and I've also...
Which made it worse, quite frankly. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
Because they also libel you in that, just in case you don't know. If your lawyers don't know. But it'll be a very good test for the IEC, I think.
I think
to stand up for the law as it is, and let's see where the...
And stand up for journalists and journalism, yes.
Well, just freedom of information, which we're going to talk about.
Well, you've done a very interesting article. You've written a piece about
this is the Sunday Times.
The Sunday Times piece, around the fact that the ANC is really going to battle in the economic heartland of South Africa, which is Gauteng. And you say that the EFF might well be the kingmaker here, and that's going to throw up a range of very interesting politics.
If you look at the latest poll out of the Institute of Race Relations, which is doing some pretty scientific polling, and it's probably the most credible polling there is around, under none of the turnout scenarios, from 100% to about 69%. So we normally turn out around about 70% in South Africa. Under none of those scenarios does the ANC win a majority in Gauteng. Under the sort of most likely, which is around about the 70% mark, it's ANC 47%, and I think DA 37, EFF 11, which means that the EFF and the DA, if they got a few small parties to support them, could form a majority coalition.
And the EFF could be a rent seeker again on behalf of the EFF, with the ANC.
Yeah, well, I mean, so Julius, the EFF, if they are able to participate in the election after your appeal, would be a kingmaker, according to this poll, in the sense that both the DA and the ANC might want to talk to it about bringing it into government. Whatever one's own opinion are, that's just the fact, and we may, we may see another EFF DA tie-up, and that's what my column is about, hoping that didn't happen, because I think the decent thing to do in this country is it's just for the good hearts to stand with the good hearts.
Let me just say that I disagree with you. I think the ANC is actually going to be able to take Gauteng. I think there is a particular strategy at play to make voters who haven't voted for the ANC before vote to prevent the spectre of what you're talking about, which is an EFF that can detect, to the DA. But the other story, Peter, that is absolutely mind-boggling, both on the City Press and, of course, on the Sunday Times, is the fact that we've had the intelligence agencies again doing the bidding of Jacob Zuma. And what is interesting is that the Minister of State Security is now publicly charging the public protector. She's gone to the police. So it's an interesting.
So the sort of new, so they're chasing. Look, I mean, this once again is Cyril of the week, letting people wash over. No, what he's done is he's actually taking on the intelligence machine. Zuma's intelligence machine.
In fact, this entire report is actually on the president's. You can read it.
That's fantastic, because he ordered this investigation. He's already acted on it, because I think it was the head of the Special Operations Unit was quietly slipping into an ambassadorial role in Tokyo, which, by the way, is a fantastic posting for a South African diplomat. And he's been recalled and is now awaiting instructions. Well, he's going to wait a long time.
And he's, of course, the kingpin. He's the person that, of course, stands accused. What is interesting for me is just the lack of controls in the Sunday Times story, where someone can come and ask for 15 million rand, and he doesn't have to explain himself. And,
I haven't read the report, so how does Arthur Fraser come out of the report?
Well, Arthur Fraser is not really mentioned in there.
Well, they don't mention anybody in particular.
They don't mention anybody. They just mention the way in which the fund was actually used. Now, coming back to the story around the Minister of Safety and Intelligence taking on the public protector. The public protector was apparently leaked a report. And what the minister is saying is that she's endangering the lives of the agents and the operatives, and she wants that report back. And the public protector is refusing, and they are the report kind of suggests that the public protector is still acting in the interest of the Zuma family.
Well, we know that she's a proxy for Jacob Zuma.
And of course, recently in Parliament, attempts to get rid of her was, of course, rejected by the African National Congress. I wonder if this story is going to change. It's not every day that a Minister of Intelligence take a Chapter 9 institution to court.
Well, you know, they'll wait for her as, you know, what we know about ANC politics is that things move slowly. You've got to make a mistake, and then you're done.
Yeah, and I think what Cyril is doing is precisely that. He's not interfering in the law enforcement agencies, but they are now beginning to do their jobs. Well, after the break, we will be joined by Venezuela's ambassador in South Africa for a look at the current crisis in that country as the Maduro government goes toe-to-toe with the United States.